Right.
Good evening, Professor. So my name is Vinit. So Vamshi and I worked on a game called TikTok using AI in Python. So next. So the uniqueness of this project is traditionally tic-tac-toe is played either two players or a player and a computer. But in this game, we try to introduce the third mode of gameplay in which the computer versus computer plays the game. Next. So for this project, we have chosen a 3 by 3 grid board which has 9 positions. We have two players, X and O. So as we know, a winner of the game is the one who arranges either X or O in either horizontally or vertically or diagonally. Next. So let's get into the data structures. So the board has 9 vector elements. Each element by default is 0, which 0 is blank. X indicates the player X, the 0 indicates player 0, and computer may choose either X or O. Uh, Next. So for this gameplay, we have chosen the algorithm called min-max. So why min-max? The min-max algorithm is a popular technique used in artificial intelligence and game theory to determine the best move for a player in a two-player game. In the case of tic-tac-toe game, the min-max algorithm works as the algorithm considers all possible moves that can be made by the player in the current game state. For each of these moves, the algorithm simulates the game to the end, assuming both players play optimally. After simulating each possible move, the algorithm assigns score to each move based on the outcome of the game. If the current player wins, the score is assigned a positive value. If the opponent wins, the score is assigned a negative value. And if the game ends in draw, the score is assigned a value 0. Finally, the algorithm selects the move with highest score if the player turns or move with the lowest score if the opponent turns. So basically, the min-max algorithm essentially works by recursively exploring all possible game states and choosing the best move based on the outcome of the game, assuming optimally play by both players. This technique guarantees that the player will make the best possible move given the current state of the game. Next. So the notion of the game is like uh, x is uh, x is used for the input variable if the player x marks on the cell. Similarly, O is used for the player O. When the cell is blank, which by default it is 0, the accuracy of the game is 54% for the bot 1 and for 46% for the bot 2. And the code will be explained by Vamsi Krishna Bora.
Hi, Professor. My name is Vamshi. So here I'm going to explain about the code. So when we comes to the code, uh, one second, Professor. So I'm going to share my screen. Um, Here is the code. So we wrote this code in the Python. So especially this code is for the has earlier my friend told about this game, right? We can play this game into like three different ways. The first way is player versus bot and player versus player, and third one is bot versus bot. So when we comes to the code, so first when we take about the default value means it is a function. So we wrote in the Python. The function means a function that simply prints out the welcome message when the game is started. When we start the game, it shows that welcome, let's play the tic-tac-toe game. So when we comes to the rules function, in the rules function, a function that's print out the rules of a game and how to play. And in these prints we gonna wrote we wrote different positions like 1 2 3 up to like 9 positions. And when we come to the play function, in the play function, uh, it it runs like the prompts the user to start the game and return the true. If the user enter the S, like S or no, yeah, I'm sorry. So if the user, I'm sorry, if user press an S button, so he want to play like next time also. So when it comes to the names function, a function that prompts the user for their names and return a to look containing their names. Uh, when it comes to the next function like choice, in the choice function, the prompts that the first player to choose between like X and O, and that returns the to look containing their choice. Here like player P1 choice and P2 choice means the player one and player two. When it comes to the first player function, in the first player function, we imported the uh, uh, a random package. Random package is like choosing the different random numbers like 1 to 9. Display board, when it comes to the display board, the display board is nothing but that function that takes the current state of a game board and displays to the users. And the player choice is nothing but like a function that prompts the user to enter their next move and returns the position they choose. And when compared to the when we comes to compare AI board function means a function that implements a simple AI algorithm to choose the computer's next move. When it comes to the select random function, in the select random function, we imported again the random package, uh, uh, random package, which choose the like the random numbers in this function also. When we choose, when we take the place like place marker function, the place marker function is nothing but the update the game board with the player's choice. Space check is nothing but like a function that checks if a given position on your board is available or not, like an empty board. It will check for the empty positions. When we comes to the full board check, full board, a function that checks if the game board is full and return the true if it is. And win check function is nothing but a function that checks, it gives the player has won the game and return if they won, it's gonna go to the like true, otherwise it gives as a false value. Let's start our game here. So I'm starting the game. So so here, I'm starting the game. So first, there are like three choices. The first choice is like player versus board, which I have been told earlier, like which I have been, my friends has been explained you before in the PPT. Like we have three options like player versus board, player versus player, and board versus board. Especially, this game is designed for like we need to check the board versus board how they will play. So first we are choosing the player versus board option. So when we choose the first option, it's gonna ask for the player name. Like I'm choosing one name. So the player need to choose the value like X or O. So the player is choosing like O, and it's also asking like here board choose the board was chosen by like X and the player choose by O. So and also it's asking like yes or no, you want to play the game or not. So I'm choosing yes. Okay, so first board has been started. So board has been chosen the position 9. So next, and the player need to choose. The player chosen the 5 position. Okay, so again the board was chosen. The board was chosen 7th position. Again, the player need to choose. The player was chosen by like 6th position. Again, board was chosen by like 4th position. So next, the player need to choose. The player chosen by like 2nd position. Yes, he has completed the game. So board has been won. Next, um, we are going for the second player, like second type of game, like player versus player. In the player versus player, we need to choose like first position. It's asking for the player one name and player two name Okay, so player one need to choose some like two like x or x or zero position. Sorry, x or zero value. So I'm choosing the x value. So automatically the second person will choose like zero value. It's asking for the you're ready for the game or not. Yes, I'm ready for the game. So the player first player need to choose the game. So the first player is choosing first one, and second player need to choose the different value. So he's choosing two, and first player is choosing four, and second player is choosing five. So first player is choosing one again. So it's saying that the first position was already occupied. So can you choose the different position? So we need to choose the different position. Mm, So we are choosing the third position. Again, second player need to choose the different position. So he's choosing the seventh position. So first pole eight, next position, and six and nine. So here the game was draw. So no one has won this game. So when we comes to the third and final type of the game, so especially this game is built for this position, like this type of a game, like boat versus boat. When it comes to the boat versus boat, uh it choose by automatic, like boat one is choosing like x and boat two is choosing o position. It's very fast and accurate game, like if we press the enter, it's gonna be pop up like who was won very fast. So because the two sides of the game is like one side is boat and other side is also boat, so uh it may play the game very fast. So here um I'm pressing the enter, so we gonna see how fast the game is playing. See, the game was drawn, so two boats was played and the game was drawn. So here we can see the steps, like how the play boat one and boat two are they played step by step. Mm, yes, professor, this is our the project. So that's it. Thank you, professor. Hello.